Hello everyone and welcome to part 22 of my Metal Gear Solid 3 European Extreme playthrough. Right off the bat, I just want to say I'm sorry that I haven't been coming out with any episodes in this entire playthrough recently. I know it's been like 2 months since I uploaded the last episode, I think it was, and that episode was mostly cutscenes, so that made it easier to, film it and make it come out. Didn't require as much editing. This video, on the other hand, oh my gosh, it has probably the hardest gameplay segment that you will ever see in a video game, or at least one of the hardest. It certainly was really annoying for me whenever I was filming it because it took a lot longer than the length of this video that you'll see. So, and also it's due to the fact that I've been really busy lately in school, studying for exams, writing papers. I actually had a project that was a virtual children's storybook, which I uploaded on my YouTube page just yesterday, in fact. So, anyways, I've been quite busy lately, but it's kind of laying off now since it's getting closer to the end of the semester. And as I said, I plan on finishing this series by the end of this semester, or at least until May, which is when I go back to PEI. By the beginning of May, this series will be done. I can assure you on that. So anyways, obviously this video is being done in post-recorded commentary, because editing an Audacity track to fit in with all these clips would be a nightmare. Because as you'll see in the bottom left corner, I've included a number of attempts, or maybe it won't be in the bottom left corner. I guess I'll put it wherever I feel like putting it in this video. I'm speaking in post-recorded commentary right now, so it's hard for me to find out what the heck I'm gonna say at any given point in time. But anyways, the reason I did post-recorded commentary is because it just, again, the Audacity track would have taken too long to sync with the game's audio, and I was already frustrated enough with my experiences in this part of the game, so it just made sense to record post-recorded commentary. But anyways, Johnny here is a really interesting and funny character, because he says different things anytime you knock against the iron bars of the jail cell. He won't give you food if you bother him too much. I think a cutscene actually happens with him if you stay in your cell long enough without bothering him. And anyways, you can escape the cell by doing one of 3 tricks. I think it's 3 tricks, and this first trick is probably the easiest one on any other difficulty anyways. What you do is basically go in the cure menu and you spin Snake around in circles with the right analog stick, and then after you leave the menu, this happens. Snake ends up puking his guts out in front of Johnny, and he gets grossed out by it. So he goes to enter the cell, and then that's your opportunity to basically knock him out and make a run for it. The problem here is this. I was getting kind of carried away with my punches, and I started like punching repeatedly in the same direction, and didn't get enough time to steer Snake around to punch Johnny, and then he got alerted, and then obviously I got captured. But another method of getting here, or getting by here I should say, is getting rid of the transmitter first, because you don't want anyone to see where you're at whenever you leave the jail cell. And then after that, whenever you get the food, because every bit of stamina counts, then you go into the codec. And through the codec, you organize a code together. Now, this code has been present in a few cutscenes in the previous video, and this code is 144.75. You may have seen the Sorrow. That might have been a spoiler alert, but you might have seen the Sorrow carrying a sign with a number on it. You might have seen a few diagrams in the background of some cutscenes that had this number on it. But anyways, no matter which way you get the number, that's the number you enter in the codec. But watch what happens whenever I exit the menu. See, what happened there was I wasn't paying attention to where Johnny was at that moment in time, and I ended up activating that code right in front of the door where Johnny was standing, and I completely forgot Johnny was standing there. So that kind of backfired on me a bit. So I try this again, and that's the fake death pill, which will come in handy whenever you go into the next boss fight, which will be the start of the next video that I make. I'm planning on making more of these videos starting tomorrow. I'll see if I can get my good old friend Noor to start in this video too, because she was on one of my most commented videos, I guess, on my channel. So it'd be interesting to have her back and reminisce about the good old days. So yeah, Johnny does some funny stuff, including yawning and just saying some generally funny things to Snake. What I did here was I waited until he was completely out of sight. Completely the opposite of what I did last time whenever he was in front of the door. Activated the code, as you can see right here. Then after the door was unlocked, I made a break for it. And of course you have the codec conversation here with Zero, which I will pause here.
Did you manage to escape?
Yeah, I'm out.
Be careful. In your present state, you're practically naked. You don't have a single decent weapon, and you'll never survive in a battle. Take some time and pull yourself together. Eva says she's recovered your equipment, so rendezvous with her as soon as possible to get your gear back. Use the escape route Eva set up for you. Go down into the sewers through the manhole in the northwest section of Groznyj Grad. Start out by exiting the holding cells and heading northwest.
I meant to say mute, not pause. It's really hard coming up with things you want to say whenever you're making post-recorded commentary on the fly. But anyways, I stay here in this little niche of a room for a few seconds. And once he opens the door, bam! Roll right into him, and you want to make sure that you're right in front of him when he gets up so that you can CQC him. Of course, I was very close to getting an alert there. Then he slowly gets back up, I kick him again, and then he gets knocked out for at least a few seconds. And this gives you your window of opportunity to leave the jail cell, as well as the whole building in general. There's a couple of medical items here if you really need them, but I never really had to use them that much anyways in this playthrough. So now that we've left this building, you have to deal with the rest of Groznyj Grad. And this part here is annoying, but at least it's not as annoying as the other parts, because largely due to the fact that your exit that you need to go to is where you see this guard walking, where the camera's pointed to. The problem with this area here is that it's really cheap, as well as the other areas in general, but in this particular area, as you can see in the top right, Snake has been completely stripped of all of his items. He only has naked camouflage, no face paint, 20% camo index. He only has a fork and a single action army revolver that has no bullets in it. I'm not even sure where he got that revolver. Maybe it was from a previous cutscene. But anyways, as you can see, I got caught there. And the reason why I get caught so many times in this area is because of just how cheap it is in general. Like, the enemies have really long vision, I guess. They have really big vision. And it certainly doesn't help that you only have 20% camo index whenever you're at a crawl, 15% whenever you're crawling faster than you normally do. So you can try and hide, you can try and stand still all you want, but if an enemy sees you, chances are, unless you're quick-witted, they're gonna catch you. And it's even worse whenever you're just running about, because they'll see you instantly, and then it'll just be a mission failed, and then you have to start all over again, which isn't nice. So there are going to be a lot of edits here in this part just because of how long it took me to get here. And keep in mind, you're watching the abridged version of this video. I must have been spending like an hour and a half or 2 hours on this whole area here just because of how long it took me to get through all these enemies. Because you only get like one alert. If you get alerted once, then you have to start the whole area over, which is a pain to deal with over and over again, like right there. And this is where I got a bit mad, because I was just crawling out, minding my own business, and I got caught anyway. And then I sprinted out and got caught again anyways. Now, watch this part here. I ran out again, but something funny happened. I rolled into him, but he got alerted in the process. So, in some cases, there are times when you just need to make a break for it, and that's the only way you're going to get through. There might be other ways of getting through this area or other areas, but I'm, like I said before in many other videos, I'm just not that experienced with Metal Gear Solid, so I had to use any method I could to my advantage before I, and of course I got detected as soon as I entered through the wall there, because it was in caution mode, so there was someone right on the other end of that wall. and I drew someone's attention there. So I go under these crates, and I spend a lot of time under these crates, so in sections like these, I speed them up. Like in the previous building with the jail cell, there are a few items that you can get under these crates, but they're mostly medical items that chances are you might already be full to capacity with. I had to speed up these sections because otherwise this video would have been an extra 10 minutes long, and no one wants to watch a 40-minute video of me failing at Metal Gear Solid over and over again. But I guess you can see the mistakes that I made in this video and what you can do to avoid making those same mistakes when you make a playthrough of your own in this game. These early sections have a bit more environmental cover in that you're free to move around a bit because, as you can see, there's not really anything preventing you from moving around. But in the next area, you're a bit more restricted as to where you can move whenever you're under certain things, and I'll go into more detail when we go into the next area. And of course I get detected right as soon as I leave the crate, and in a futile effort of trying to shake things up, for some reason I thought it'd be a good idea to go over here in this area to kind of loop around for a bit, but that only got me kind of stuck in a rut here because I ended up drawing someone's attention, got stuck behind this pipe, and was granted a really shitty camera angle in both the original and the subsistence cameras. So I couldn't really see where that guy was coming from until like he was right next to me.
Nobody here.
So then he goes up to the top of the stairs, and then I wait for a bit longer. Deal with the camera, which is really starting to annoy me at this point. And then I draw his attention again. I'm just like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna get detected. Gonna get detected anyway, so might as well change my game plan. I really wish in those instances you'd have a restart checkpoint option, but for some reason this game doesn't have it. And here I speed things up again. Apologies if I don't have much to say. It's just me hiding under boxes, so there's not really a whole lot to say here. I kind of wish that this area was a bit more interesting. I mean, it is a bit more interesting in the lower difficulties because you can actually you can afford to get detected on lower difficulties, but on this one, it's just not really a lot of fun. Well, no shit. I mean, he said he saw something, or he thought he saw something, and now he's like, oh, I guess I'm seeing things. You just said that you thought you saw something. Why do you need to repeat things twice? These enemy CPUs are so stupid. So as you can see on the map here, I'm trying to get to the top left area. That's where you need to go in order to meet Eva, I guess. So I hang around on the border of this map. Decide to scan out some enemy walking patterns. Then I make for a break for it, but then in my gut instinct I was like, oh no, should probably change my mind here. Time to go back. Take her back a notch. Probably should have did a 180 and started crawling from there. It would have made me crawl faster. You may notice by now that Snake's stamina bar is getting a bit low. It's at 75%. There's a strong lack of food items in this entire area. Unless you find a way to knock enemies out and shake rations out of them, chances are you're not going to find very much to restore your stamina in this area. Probably should have sped up this section. Enemies are so clueless. They keep going like, "Oh, something there? Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm just seeing things." And then of course I get detected anyways. So I kind of skipped the rest of that procedure because I was getting frustrated. But what I did was I basically took the opposite direction of where I went. I went to the right instead of the left, and then I knocked out a guard that was on the other side of that wall, and then I made a break for it. That way was easier than what I did. And of course I entered the wrong section right there. I entered the northeast section instead of the northwest, which is where you're supposed to go, as you can see right there on the map. And for some reason I started crawling here. I didn't really see too many guys in this particular area. And then eventually I realized that, and then I began to make a break for the door. This next area I also skipped the strategy of how to get past, but I'll explain it in a minute. But first, I just want to kind of rant about how freaking terrible this entire area is. Like, the rest of Groznyj Grad on European Extreme is pretty annoying in and of themselves, but this area in particular, I gotta pay my respects to. This freaking level. On my first playthrough, it took me like 2 or 3 hours to get through, just by myself. And remember what I said about me completing this whole area, the torture room and all the other sections that followed, that taking 2 to 3 hours. This entire section here alone took me 2 to 3 hours, which is a testament to how, in a lot of cases, how broken that European Extreme is. So, anyways, there's more cheapness in this area because there's dogs, as you can see right there. I got alerted. There's searchlights. There's tons of guards that'll point a gun at you and raise alert at a moment's notice, as you saw just a few seconds ago. So there's a lot of edits and a lot of sped up footage here in this part. The only cover you really have to work with are these tanks, and some of these tanks have items underneath them. But remember when I said that there was some cover that allowed you greater freedom of movement? Well, these tanks, as you can probably tell, only have treads, and you're only able to maneuver between these treads, whereas under the boxes you had free range of movement, so it's kind of really restricted. Not only that, but if you alert a dog, you won't necessarily raise the alarm, but if they see you go under the tank, they'll actually bark at you while you're under the tank, and then that'll alert enemies to your presence there, and then that's where you get the mission failed notification. So yeah, there's a ton of just really bullshit elements that go into this whole entire section here. And what I did for this particular section of getting past it, as I said, I didn't show myself filming it because I just wanted to get past the section and then start filming again. Because if I got every single bit of footage of me trying to get through this section, this video would have been really long and it would have taken a really long time to edit together and probably wouldn't have been worth it. So what I did to get past this entire section was that I ended up baiting enemies to where I was. By that I mean I would probably like knock against tanks or like flash briefly in front of enemies' vision and then hide behind cover. And then I would loop around the cover while an enemy would try to see where I was at. Then I would knock him out, extract any bullets that he had from him, kill him with my SSA, or I think it's SAA, my revolver, and then the noise would alert others, and then I would have to find somewhere to hide, and then after I waited out the caution timer, all 99 seconds of him, I would bait another enemy, kill him with the SSA, or SAA, I'm saying it again, and then I would rinse and repeat, you know. Kill one person, hide until the caution meter goes out, then go out again, kill one person, hide, kill one person, hide, kill dog, hide. I did that over and over and over again. And that took a really long time to do, and what I ended up doing was, because a couple times I ended up getting caught anyways, so in those cases I was just like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna leave the area and then come back so it saves a checkpoint for me, because that's the only way you get a checkpoint, is if you leave an area or enter any new area in general. Anyways, I'm gonna mute the mic here because cutscene.
Snake, you're already in the sewers?
Eva, yeah, I just got down here. I'm coming to meet you now. The door at the north end is open, right?
Snake?
Let me guess. There's a problem.
Yeah.
What is it this time?
The Colonel found out you escaped.
He did, huh? I figured as much.
Yeah, and now all of Groznyj Grad is on red alert.
Just my luck. But once I'm out of the fortress...
You can't get out.
I can't?
When the fortress went on red alert, they sealed off the sewers.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm serious. And that means the escape route I laid out is...
Is sealed off, too.
Right. And they just sent a unit out looking for you.
Down here?
Uh-huh. They'll be there any minute now. You've got to get out quick.
But isn't the exit sealed off?
You should be able to get out by heading straight north. Book it, Snake. If they find you, you're dead.
Well, it seems like Snake's in a bit of a pickle. But yeah, anyways, that process was just a basically it was just a giant cheese. It was just a giant cheese. I had to cheese the level in order to get through it. Just baiting enemies to where I was at, and then killing them one by one, then leaving the area to set a checkpoint up, and then I'd be safe if I got caught again, and believe me, I got caught several times trying to get through that area. That entire section is just a nightmare to deal with. It's definitely my least favorite section of this game. The boss battle with the Fury was difficult, but it wasn't as broken as this whole gameplay section was. At least the boss fight was functionable for the most part. This section on European Extreme is just completely freaking broken. Some people that are out there who have made videos of them getting through this on European Extreme have actually gotten past that section without having to kill anyone or anything. And that just astounds me that they can even do that. But people like a good challenge, I guess. So this part of the game is a bit interesting because you can't raise any alerts here. There's only dogs here. And most of those dogs are behind iron bars, so they can't really get to you. Of course, you can shoot them with your revolver if you wish, but there's not really any point in doing so. I wait here for a minute or so because whenever those dogs start barking, I think they alert other dogs to your presence. Either that or they're just a specifically triggered event whenever you go through a tunnel. But either way, there are times when you're going through this section that a dog will come up right behind you and start biting at you out of nowhere, so you have to be prepared for those moments. Sometimes they might just like signify that they're there by barking, so this particular area is a bit weird to have an enemy at because those dogs don't even know how to swim. Another sign of how lame these enemies are. Not sure why I used 3 bullets against him there. Anyways, that dog's been eliminated. Do a 180 into the tunnel. And then we got more puppies. Shut up, mutt. There's quite a few items that are hidden in this water. Right there you got a Russian ration, which you can use to restore your stamina if you haven't found anything yet. For some reason I didn't pick up those extra bullets that were on the bottom of that pit there in the water. I guess I just didn't see them whenever I was recording this video. And here we got some more dogs, including the tunnel dog that pops up behind you. Didn't manage to get him right off the bat there. And there we go, he's done. And this is where the next cutscene follows. I kind of like this area, this like little area just before the cutscene, because of how the music kind of ramps up the tension whenever you're trying to escape this whole section in the tunnel. Can't open that door, so we just end up walking through the tunnel. And from here, the next cutscene plays out. So, back in a moment.
I've been waiting for this. Nobody interfere. This is where it ends. Snake! Don't die on me yet.
Tough luck there, Ocelot. So yeah, between the enemy placement and level design, that whole entire Groznyj Grad section is just one big mountain of frustration on European Extreme. But anyways, we got another cutscene here, so back in another moment.
Are you one of the Cobras?
Sad. So sad. A host of sorrows. And you are one of them. know the sorrow of those whose lives you have ended.
Alright, so as you can tell, the Sorrow is going to be the boss fight that we'll do in the next video. So in the meantime, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, for the most part, and stay tuned for the next part.